watching for the rest of the week. Good evening from Cleveland. I'm Marty Gelder. 7 games. That's all that's left here in the regular season. Today, Trevor Plouffe said he thought there might be a little more tightness in the clubhouse, maybe some nerves from this team. But he said, we have played like this all season as a loose group, very confident. And he said, I don't expect that to change now. The Twins are hoping to be part of the postseason. Right now, they're in the mix. And here's how the picture looks. With Toronto having some breathing room in the East, 4 games clear of the Yankees. In the Central, Kansas City has already clinched. And the West is still up for grabs, with Texas, though, in the lead by 2.5 games over Houston, and the Angels lurking. And in that wild card, New York most certainly will grab the first spot, but the second one is where the Twins are eyeballing a game and a half back of Houston, a half game behind LA, and the Indians are not quite out of it yet either. They are 4 back in the wild card. Tonight, the Twins made a late scratch of Phil Hughes. He is sick, and so Tommy Malone will take his place against the former Cy Young Award winner Corey Kluber. The rest of the important games that we're keeping an eye on, Detroit has that red-hot Justin Verlander going against Colby Lewis of the Rangers. The Angels will throw Hector Santiago. He has a 3.47 ERA, and the Astros will go with Lance McCullers in their opener against the Mariners in Seattle. I asked Paul Molitor today about the mood of the Twins heading into the final stretch.
I think the mood is good. It's always a little better coming back after a win, and to finish off the Detroit series with a couple was, was welcome. It was needed, and we all know where we're at. The games are dwindling. We're still trying to play catch up. Cleveland's only a couple games behind us in the loss column. All those things are up in the air, but. As the game approaches, I think the guys are doing a good job of doing what they need to do to get ready, but still enjoying the moment and trying to go out there to compete as best they can.
Tommy Malone just found out today that he'd be starting tonight, going up against ace Corey Kluber and the Cleveland Indians. We'll have the first pitch of the first of a 4-game set from Cleveland coming up next.
presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Ram. Come in and get a great deal on the best trucks during Ram Truck Month. The Twins will need some help to get into the playoffs tonight in Cleveland. They hope to help themselves in the first of 4 between the Twins and the Indians. Corey Kluber will go for the Indians, and Tommy Malone told this afternoon that he'll make the start tonight in place of the ill Phil Hughes. And good evening to you from Cleveland. Dick and Bert with you for the opening game of this very key series. When the Twins left Detroit yesterday, there were some thoughts that perhaps Phil Hughes might not be able to start this series. He wasn't feeling well yesterday in Detroit. And sure enough, this afternoon at the ballpark, Paul Molitor made the news that Tommy Malone instead would make the start.
Yeah, remember yesterday Trevor Plouffe got ill, and then there's kind of something going around the clubhouse. But hey, you know what? You get the ball, you do the best you can, and that's what Tommy Malone's goal is here. Spent some time on a disabled sore elbow, had missed some starts because of the shoulder, but he's going to be out there tonight and hopefully give the Twins a good start. They're going to need a good start because of who his mound opponent is, and that's Corey Kluber. The first 3 starts this year, outstanding against the Twins. Remember earlier in the year, he went back-to-back against the Twins, complete games against them. Those are the couple wins he got, but in his last start, Brian Dozier kind of started that 4th inning off with a home run, and then the Twins ended up knocking him out in that 4th inning ended up scoring 4 runs. Twins haven't done that much against Kluber.
And Kluber trying to come back after having some hamstring issues of his own. The Twins opening up this series in Cleveland, then 3 in Minnesota against Kansas City. Only 7 games left as the Twins hunt for a playoff spot continues. That was the last time the Twins faced Corey Kluber, and he was on a pitch count that night and had 3 really good innings going. Then the Twins put 4 runs together against him. He never did complete the 4th inning. And Kluber making the start again for the Indians tonight. Brian Dozier will lead things off.
Yeah, first game of a huge 4-game series for the Twins. They need to win, hopefully all of them, but at least 3 out of 4.
First pitch fouled back. 1 strike. Menard's batting order for the Twins in the opener. Dozier hasn't had much success against Kluber, but he'll lead things off. Then Aaron Hicks, Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, Trevor Plouffe, Eddie Rosario, Torrey Hunter, Chris Herman, and Eduardo Escobar.
Yeah, it was Brian Dozier that really started that 4th inning off with that home run off of Kluber, and then Twins added 3 more runs.
To the hole, picked up by Lindor, and he makes that play as well as anybody. He's made 3 plays in the hole against the Twins this year that I'm not sure any other shortstop could make.
Well, Derek Jeter, a young Derek Jeter right there. I'll tell you what, he has made very nice plays. We saw him in Minnesota make some great defensive plays, and right there going into the hole, having to go to his right, pick it, and then all in one motion make a good throw across the diamond. It was a little off mark, but Santana came up the line and tags Dozier out.
Dozier, a former shortstop, applauding Lindor's efforts. 1 down, and here's Aaron Hicks. Hicks hit second in the ball game yesterday as a right-handed batter. And he swings at the first pitch. We saw this from the Twins hitters in their game against Kluber at Target Field, trying to strike early in the at-bat and not wanting to get it to 2 strikes with
right.
him.
I talked to Tom Bernansky about that, and that's kind of the way they kind of look at Kluber. You know, he has such good breaking stuff. He's a strikeout pitcher, 230 strikeouts and 208 innings pitched. So he's a guy that, you know, relies on getting some big outs on strikeouts. So don't let him get into that 2-strike mode. And Kluber can do that in a hurry.
1 strike to Hicks. And a ball fouled back, 2 strikes. Hicks back in center field tonight. Spent yesterday's game in left field with Byron Buxton in the ball game.
Over the last 7 ball games, Hicks hitting .321. A couple doubles, a triple, 4 runs batted in.
Up and away, 1-2.
Hicks against Kluber, just 1 hit in 13 at bats.
And now 2-2. Indians are not out of the wild card race, but they need to make a move in this series against the Twins. They need to win probably all 4 if they want to make a final week push toward the postseason. Chop back toward Kluber, and he fires to first, 2 down. If the series is split, it won't do the Twins much good, but it will officially eliminate the Indians, who are 3.5 games behind the Twins. Northland Ford defense for the Twins, or for the Indians rather. Brantley in left, Almonte in center, Chisenhall. The late change with Rayburn in right field for Chisenhall. Aviles, Lindor, Kipnis, and Santana, the infielders. Gomes behind the plate. Chisenhall was in the original starting lineup when Phil Hughes was scheduled to pitch. Mark Ripperger behind the plate. Porter, Kellogg, and Honora, the umpires. 2 down, and here's Mauer. The ball hit hard to left center field. This ball is back and off the wall. Mauer will go to second with a stand-up double.
Hey, how many times have we seen Joe Mauer swing at the first pitch, especially in his first at-bat? Now, he has faced Kluber 36 times. He does have 9 hits against him. And a couple home runs. He got a fastball and just took it toward left center, as Joe does so well. And it went high off that wall. Almonte has to retrieve it and get it back in. And Joe Mauer gets into scoring position with 2 outs for Sano. For Joe, his 32nd double of the year.
Miguel Sano's faced Kluber 8 times, 8 plate appearances, 2 walks, 0 for 6 with 4 strikeouts. And he comes up with a man in scoring position and 2 down. Down and away, ball 1.
Well, you can see 59 of Joe's hits to left field, 57 to center and left center, and then 35 to right. 2/3 of his hits go the other way.
2-0.
Kluber making his 31st start, his 5th start against the Twins. I showed you the numbers, 2-1, very good, 2.43 ERA. Lost to Phil Hughes and the Twins in his last start. This is the second time this year he's had back-to-back starts against the Twins.
Sano fouls it over the screen, 2-1.
Little over a month ago, on August 9th and 14th, there were back-to-back starts for Kluber, and he won both of them, going 9 innings in both games, winning 8-1 and 6-1. 18-game winner last year, won the Cy Young Award in the American League.
2-1. A drive to left center field and deep. Halfway up the wall, Sano drives Mauer in, and a pair of 2-out doubles by Mauer and Sano as the Twins on the board.
Boy, it seemed like every pitch prior to that one was away, and this one came inside, and Sano looked like he opened up quickly. They see inside, and he reacted nicely. Remember in that Detroit series, they were just pounding Sano inside. And probably good scouting report by Tom Bernansky saying, hey, they'll go breaking balls away, but they're going to try to go inside on you. And Sano reacted very nicely, driving in his 51st run. Twins take a 1-0 lead.
And now Trevor Plouffe, who's had some success against Kluber, 11 hits, 36 at bats. Up and in. Especially in a when you're the visiting team, to get that first run up on the board. You got a starting pitcher who wasn't expecting to start tonight, and Tommy Milone, and he's already got a lead to work with. 1-0 to Trevor Plouffe. Swing and a miss.
Well, Twins scored early yesterday, the 6 runs off of Randy Wolf. And I mentioned yesterday, when the Twins score first, they are 57 now and 25. It's one thing Gene Mauch, when he was a manager of the Twins, that's what I remember. He sat down with me one time and he talked about that. I wanted that first run on the board because the percentages were in my favor to win the ball game.
Another one lifted to deep left center field. Plouffe goes deep, and it's 3-0 Twins. With 2 outs, a pair of ringing doubles on a long home run by Trevor Plouffe.
Well, home run number 22 on the year for Trevor Plouffe. That was almost a no-doubter right there. Good solid swing. Yeah, high pitch right there, and Trevor, good extension. Knocks it into the seats out here in left field at Progressive Field.
I think Plouffe knew it. You could tell Sano knew it. And now Rosario celebrating a birthday today.
Happy 24th birthday to Eddie Rosario.
And he takes strike 1. Dozier nearly got a base hit. Took a good play by Lindor to keep him off the bases. Hicks with a comebacker to the mound, and then double home run against last year's Cy Young Award winner. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
Yeah, you know, Corey Kluber this year has given up now 22 home runs. He gave up 14 all of last year in over 230 innings pitched. So the Twins jumping on Kluber early.
Slashed foul. Still 2 strikes. Plouffe held out of the lineup yesterday because of the flu bug that eventually caught up with Phil Hughes today. 0-2. And on the outside corner, Trevor Plouffe with a 2-run home run. 3 extra base hits after the second out. And the Twins jump out early. start here in this critical 4-game series against Terry Francona and the Indians. Back at 500 the 500 mark after a tough loss yesterday in Kansas City. The Menards batting order for the Indians. Jason Kipnis in the leadoff spot. Then Francisco Lindor, Michael Brantley, Carlos Santana, Ryan Rayburn, Yan Gomes, Chris Johnson, Abraham Almonte, and Mike Aviles.
And again, it was Phil Hughes scheduled to start here to afternoon this evening, but because of illness, it'll be Tommy Milone making his 22nd start of the year and his 23rd game overall. The second start against the Indians. He pitched in Minnesota back on August 16th. He beat Carlos Carrasco 4-1. He pitched a good ball game, and he's had good success against the Indians over his career.
Indians typically have had some struggles against left-handed pitching. Milone handed his second straight big early lead. Strike one to Kipnis. And now a ball 1-1 in Malone's last start at home against the Angels. He pitched a scoreless first inning, and the Twins scored 5 runs for him, and then he ran into all kinds of trouble in the second inning and never got through the inning. Fouled back, and it's 1-2.
You mentioned left-handed hitters. Left-handed hitters hitting only .213 off of Milone so far this year. Right-handers .279. And that's why when the announcement was made that Milone would start, Terry Francona changed his lineup and put a couple more right-handers in there.
Good start for Milone. He gets a strikeout of Kipnis, 1 away. Northland Ford defense for the Twins with Eddie Rosario back in left field, and that means Aaron Hicks is back in center. Torrey Hunter won't be moving out of right field for the balance of this season. Plouffe at third, Escobar at short, Dozier and Mauer right side of the infield. The one change, Chris Herman behind the plate. He's had some success against Corey Kluber, and Kurt Suzuki has not. So we were wondering really over the last week or so whether Kurt was going to catch all the way through to the end of the season. And the manager decided that there was going to be one game that he wasn't going to catch. It was going to be tonight.
Yeah, Kurt 0 for 10 against Kluber, where Herman is 4 for 13.
Up high, and it's 1-1 to Francisco Lindor.
Lindor, a switch hitter, hitting .336 as a right-handed hitter, .311 as a left-handed hitter.
Fouled back.
This young man, 21 years old, who got called up in the middle of June by the Indians, making quite an impact.
One and two from Milone to Lindor. And off the outside corner, 2-2. Milone ended up giving up 5 earned runs in an inning and a third against the Angels.
Yeah, Lindor in his young career against the Twins, 16 for 34, hitting .471.
Missed the inside corner, and it's 3-2.
Tommy, pretty good control. He'll change speeds. That's what his game's all about.
Blasted to left center. And the Indians are on the board. That ball almost landed in the same spot as Plouffe, and it's 3-1.
But Lindor continues to punish Twins pitching. His 11th home run of the year. That's a 3-1 ball game. His 4th home run is a right-handed hitter. Well, 3-2 pitch, ball left up. Short compact swing by Lindor. And Milone gives up his 17th home run of the season.
3-1, and now Michael Brantley. And he takes strike one. Brantley injured himself in Minnesota, making a diving attempt for a catch in the gap. His right shoulder was strained, and now strike 2 on the outside corner. Both home runs landed in the same area, and it looks like one was one row behind the other. 2 strikes to Michael Brantley. And now 1-2. Indians are very top heavy with their batting order. They have some very good hitters like Kipnis, Lindor, Brantley, and to a lesser extent Santana, but then things drop off considerably. And that'll be the biggest challenge for the Indians beyond this year, is trying to stretch out that batting order a little bit to complement their very good starting pitching. 1-2. And Brantley waves at strike 3.
Well, both left-handed hitters are strikeout victims. The right-hander, Lindor, hit a home run. Well, strikeout number 2 on a big, slow curveball. And Brantley goes down.
And that'll bring up switch hitter Carlos Santana, a little bit better hitter from the right side than the left. On the inside corner. When Malone struggled in the 2nd inning in his last start, he said he could feel things weren't right in the 1st inning. He got through it okay, and then the Twins scored him the 5 runs, but it did not take the Angels long to tee off on Tommy Malone. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Well, Tommy's not going to blow anybody away, meaning with a fastball, so he has to hit his spots, change speeds. He does like to pitch right-handers in to open up the outer half of the plate with that little bit of a changeup that he'll throw.
Down low, and it's 1-2.
Malone, 28 years old. Twins need a quality start. Just 9 of his 21 starts have been quality starts this year.
1-2. Half swing, but no, they'll appeal, and first base umpire Alan Porter says no.
All right, example right there. Good fastball in on Santana. They're seeing if he went too far. Alan Porter said he did not. Let's see if that opens up the outer half of the play where they want to pitch him again. Now the changeup away.
Tapper to short.
It was a good one.
2 hops. Escobar across to Bauer. That ends the inning. There are maybe 100 fans sitting in left field here in Cleveland. 2 of them are already lucky. They've got home run balls.
Runs off of Corey Kluber here in the top of the 1st inning, now batting in the 2nd. 5 days ago on Wednesday at Target Field, they chased Kluber after 3 2/3 innings, giving him his shortest start of the season. Brian Dozier told me today that Trevor Plouffe told me today that Corey Kluber left some pitches up, and the Twins were able to just take advantage of that. Plouffe hit a home run in this first inning. Dozier hit a home run last week Wednesday off of Kluber, and said that a lot of guys in that game just saw him better than in the previous 2 outings. I believe Torrey just saw Kluber pretty well there. But the key, Dick and Bert, tonight will be not only to get to Kluber early, which they did, it will be now to add on to this lead.
Absolutely, Marty, and the Twins have 4 extra base hits in their first 7 at bats. 3 doubles and a home run.
And another fastball looked like it was left up, and good hitting by Torrey Hunter just going down that right field line. So 3rd double with that home run. Twins a lot of extra base hits for Torrey Hunter's 21st double.
Chris Herman will hit 4 hits, 13 at bats against Kluber here, trying at the very least to advance Hunter to third base.
That is so important. It's important all season long, but in must wins where the Twins have found themselves now, very important to get Torrey over 90 feet.
1-0.
Herman has 1 sacrifice on the year.
Two and 0.
Boy, what's the difference between Corey Kluber this year when he won 18 ball games and only lost 9, this year 8 and 15. Earned run average about a run more per game. I'm sure it's just probably just location. He's pitched over 200 innings.
It has to be tough, and I don't think we saw the normal Corey Kluber in Minnesota last week and so far here tonight. They're trying to bring him back from a hamstring strain, and he wants to be out there. He wants to pitch, but man alive, if your legs aren't 100% underneath you, it's got to affect your location, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's your foundation. We talk about hitters that are not, feeling good because we just left Victor Martinez, with that bad left knee, and his left-handed hitters average is way down.
Chris Herman hitting 150 is walked on 4 pitches. Our Carsoup.com trivia question: who was the last major league pitcher to lose 15 games in a season with an ERA of under 4? Any guesses?
Jim Abbott.
Okay. Are we going to go
way back?
I thought you were going alphabetically.
No. Jim Abbott had a great year with the Angels, and I think he had an ERA under 3, and he still lost, I believe, 15, 16 games.
Here's Escobar, first and second, nobody out.
Let me think of a B.
And throw to second. Hunter just got back.
Yeah, Gomes got a great arm behind the plate. And with Escobar showing bunt, of course, Torrey trying to cheat a little bit over toward third base in case it's laid down. And you see the shortstop Lindor sneaking in behind, and Torrey just getting that right hand back on the bag.
Well, now wait a second. The batter's in the box and Kluber's on the rubber. Now they're not supposed to review this play. Corey Kluber engaged the rubber, and Escobar was in the box, and yet the Indians want to take a look at the play. I mean, that's the first thing we have learned to look for if the team is going to challenge, is the pitcher off the mound. Kluber was not only on the mound, looked like he had his toe on the rubber.
Let's take a look at the play right here, then we'll see what Kluber does right here. Torrey looked like he got that hand back on the corner of the bag before Lindor touched his back.
And they're calling him out.
Wow.
But I'm sure Paul Molitor's wondering why the challenge was even allowed in the first place. So Hunter is out. There's one out in the inning.
Let's take another look right here. Gomes, good strong throw. Boy.
Here's Escobar with one out and one strike. Popped up to Lindor. 2 down.
Let's take another look at Lindor's tag to Torrey Hunter. Well, you know what? It's amazing when you slow it down. You see the tag of the back before Torrey, whose palm was up, touched the bag.
And now Dozier trying to make something out of this inning after the Twins got a double and a walk. And Escobar was in a bunting situation, and he chose not to bunt on a breaking ball that was called a strike, and that led to Hunter being picked off. Here's Dozier, a ground ball toward the hole. Lindor got it and threw him out at first. But you can see Kluber right there has just now engaged the rubber. Escobar was in the box, and a challenge is not supposed to be allowed after that. That's the cue for baseball to continue to play.
You're right.
And Dozier takes outside 1-1.
I guess rules are made to be broken.
Well, it's a critical call here. The Twins with a 3-run first had a chance to do some more damage in the second. Still might, but it's going to take a 2-out hit here by Dozier. And now 2-1.
Well, Jeff Kellogg is the crew chief here.
Right there. As soon as he touched the rubber, they lost their opportunity to challenge.
But that's only one umpire, and where are the other umpires, especially, you know, say the first or third base umpires? Or even Jeff Kellogg, who's at second.
2-1 to Dozier. Half swing, strike 2.
When Kluber is on, he hits down and away with a fastball. Very good at that. He was excellent last year. He's left some fastballs up. Twins have taken advantage of it. The strikeout pitch, the good breaking ball down and away like that.
And now 3-2 with Hicks on deck. Twins hoping to get something out of the second inning yet. Full count to Dozier. Herman will take off. And it's ball 4. Hicks will have a chance with 2 men aboard.
Yeah, second walk of the inning for Kluber, who has excellent control over his young career.
10 plate appearances, and Kluber's only retired 4 batters. He got Hicks on a number halfway between the mound and home plate. Twins need a pick-me-up here after a rather deflating challenge, with Hunter being picked off at second. Now Herman's at second. Dozier is at first. And Hicks swings through strike 1. Oh, 0-1 to the Twin center fielder. And now 0-2.
First pitch at 85, a changeup. The last pitch at 94.
To Hicks. Got him on the inside corner. So the Twins get an opening double, but can't score in the second. In the bottom of the second, Irvin Santana will join us from the Twins dugout. good outing yesterday. In his last 6 starts, 5 wins, an ERA of less than 1.5. The Twins with Santana leading the way hope to get back into a postseason play after a 4-year absence. And Ervin Santana, very nice to join us from the Twins dugout. Ervin, obviously you're feeling pretty good. I want to go back to a few starts ago, though, that bullpen session you had with Neil Allen and how instrumental that was in turning your season around.
It was very good, you know, and I've been working for the whole after that day in Tampa. We've been working every day behind the bullpen, throwing and all that, and he even told me to do like a shortstop, crow hops, and throw the ball to the catcher.
Ervin, is that something that you have done in the past at all? I congratulated you on listening to Neil Allen and trying to get better. I saw you up here. I thought you were flying open a little bit. At that time, you didn't have a very good outing against the Rays, and a couple days later, you're out there doing these drills.
Yeah, and you have to listen to your pitching coach. It doesn't matter how many years you have in the big leagues. You have to listen to your pitching coach, because if they tell you something, it's because they see something that you don't know. So that was the key for me.
2-2 to Rayburn. He'll be followed by Gomes and Johnson.
Ervin, what's been besides that right there? What's the key? I mean, you had a lot of pitches thrown in 4 innings, but then you settled down nicely, able to go 7 innings.
The key was, the first 2 innings was not me. I mean, I was like throw a lot of pitches, everything was up, and then after the second inning, I started settling down and keep the ball down and making good pitches.
Ground ball to Plouffe, over to Mauer, 1 away. And that'll bring up Yan Gomes.
Now, in the last 3 years, you went from Kansas City to Atlanta, now here to Minnesota. How are you adapting? I see that you've got really some nice friends there peppering you with sunflower seeds, but you got a lot of friends on this ball club. A lot of guys from Dominican, Venezuela.
Yeah, it's been fun so far, so good. Everybody's friendly and nice.
Do you like sunflower seeds?
I love it.
Gomes, the batter, facing Malone. Snap bat and a bouncer up the middle. It'll be a base hit. A 1-out single for Yan Gomes, and that'll bring Chris Johnson to the plate. Ervin, you've gone through this part of the year with the team getting ready to hopefully get into postseason play. What's been different about this year for you as opposed to those years you had with the Angels and some of the other teams when you've been playing out the string maybe at the end of September?
I mean, more mature, learn how to pitch a little bit more, and that was the key for me right now. I mean, got a nice run, pitching better, so that's what we need.
Johnson, the batter. And dug out by Herman. Talk a little bit about your catcher, Kurt Suzuki. You've been pitching to him mostly this year, and he takes such a beating back there, but it seems like you and he have a pretty good relationship.
Yeah, we do. He's a nice guy. He's him and I, we're on the same page for the most part, and it's like he knows what I'm gonna throw in any count. So he's putting the right fingers right now.
1-1 to Johnson. Well, Ervin, we know you're getting pelted down there, so we're going to give you a break and let you go. But thank you for the time, and good luck. Your next start, I guess, is Friday at home against Kansas City, right?
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Ervin Santana's given the Twins a lift late in the season when they needed somebody to do just that. Phil Hughes has not been reliable with some injury issues and now illness issues inside, and it's 2-1 to Johnson. Kyle Gibson's not been as steady in the second half as he was in the first half. Tyler Duffy and Ervin Santana.
Yeah, those two guys have really gotten the Twins to where they're at right now, in must wins here with 7 games to play.
2-1 to Johnson. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Good changeup right there by Malone. Johnson has faced Malone only twice. He's 0 for 2. Johnson, a newcomer, 30 years old, got traded over to the Indians from the Braves on August 7th.
Swing and a miss, and Malone has his 3rd strikeout.
Good breaking ball down and in. That's that slider straight over the top. Might have been a changeup right there. Little movement. And strikeout number 3.
Two down, and now Abraham Almonte. Monte had a great series here against the Twins. The Twins had a little more success against him at Target Field last week.
Yeah, that was back in early August. He, like Johnson, traded over to the Indians. Now Monte traded over from the San Diego Padres.
And Herman digs one out, ball 1. The Indians changed things mid-season, bringing in some people from outside the organization like Almonte, Johnson, bringing up Lindor, Urshela, their very good defensive third baseman who's still got a shoulder issue.
Yeah, and they eliminated some players too, some veterans.
Down low, 2-0.
Like Moss and Murphy,
Swisher,
yeah.
and Michael Bourne. At 500, they still have a chance, but they need to take care of business against the Twins in this series. 2-0 to Almonte. On the outside corner, 2-1.
Now Almonte, one of 4 switch hitters in the lineup here today for Terry Francona. A .243 right-handed hitter, .254 from the left side.
And Anthony's 2-2.
I said 3 switch hitters in the ballgame. I had Ramirez in the original lineup, a switch hitter.
Malone handed an early 3-0 lead. It's 3-1. And a liner over the head of Escobar. Almonte with a base hit, and Gomes goes to second base. Just kind of stuck the bat out and hit it just out of the reach of the shortstop. First and second, 2 down.
Yeah, sometimes you know when you're fooled a little bit, and it looked like he was on that changeup, but kept those hands back nicely, and then just kind of dropped the bat. Hit it softly over the head of the shortstop. Not a bad pitch down. Monte going down and getting it and hitting it softly in the left.
Now veteran Mike Aviles. Down and away, ball 1. Aviles 3 for 9 against Malone, and suddenly this second inning at bat's a pretty big one. Tying runs at first with 2 away. Two and 0.
Yeah, Aviles always a scrappy type player. 34 years old now. He first came up with the Royals back in 2008. He's with Terry Francona in Boston for a couple years, and then Francona over here. Now he's with Francona here in Cleveland.
39th pitch already for Malone. 3-0 with Kipnis on deck. 3 batters have reached. They've all been right-handed batters. And a lefty Kipnis is on deck, but a walk here puts the tying run in scoring position.
Yeah, Malone's last start was back on September 17th against the Angels. So it's been a while. You wonder how strong he's going to be.
And a strike, 3-1.
And what his pitch count will be.
Well, Mahler's hoped for in the neighborhood of 75 to 80, but about half of those have already been used up.
Right now at what, 40-23 strikes.
3-1. Fouled away, 3-2. Now the runners will get early starts. Malone got a hint as the team left Detroit yesterday that he may make the start. Phil Hughes wasn't feeling good yesterday, feeling worse today, didn't get much sleep at all. 3-2 to Mike Aviles. Got him looking, a big strike 3 call. Aviles is retired. The Indians strand 2, and it's 3-1 as we head to the 3rd. He's got a 3-1 lead, but he's used up more than half of his complement of pitches for tonight. Twins found out today that Saturday's game against the Royals, which was supposed to start at 6 o'clock, has been picked up by Fox Television, and so the game will be moved up to noon on Saturday. So for those of you who have tickets, or for those of you who want to watch the game on TV, listen to it on the radio. We know Saturday's a busy day for everybody with everything else going on, college football, so on and so forth. Saturday's game time has been switched to noon. The middle game of 3 against the Kansas City Royals, because it was picked up by national television. Joe Mauer with 1 strike will lead off the 3rd. And now 2 strikes. Mauer thought that pitch was away.
Well, Joe got the offense going in the 1st inning on jumping on that first fastball from Kluber and hitting a double. Sano doubled, Mauer in, and then the 2-run home run by Plouffe. That's been the scoring for the Twins.
And Mauer fights off a breaking ball. Still 2 strikes. Twins with 4 hits against Kluber, 2 walks. The 4 hits have all been extra base hits. And I don't know that they're enjoying a 3-1 lead, but they have a 3-1 lead. Late September, you tend not to enjoy these things until the game is over with, right?
Can't enjoy everything, Dick.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this is fun. What a learning experience for a lot of these kids, not only on the Twins side, also Cleveland side. You know, they know the importance of what this game is. The Twins know the importance. And here it is, a week to go, and these two organizations are still have a chance. So it should be fun.
Mauer, Sano, and Plouffe facing Kluber here in the third. Lashed foul by a couple of feet. Well, it's not a direct parallel, but the Twins would like to do to the Indians what the Indians did to the Twins a couple of years ago. Cleveland finished its regular season with 10 straight wins, the last 4 at Target Field, and on the last day of the season they clinched a wild card spot at Target Field. Twins can't do anything like that here in Cleveland, but they can eliminate the Indians, and they can leave Cleveland in the second wild card spot depending on what happens elsewhere. Thursday the Astros have an off day, so that's the half game that the two teams have in relation to one another. 2-2 to Mauer. Strike 3.
And Kluber picking up his third strikeout.
Twins taking on the Royals this weekend at Target Field, and Fan Appreciation Weekend is Friday and Saturday, presented by U.S. Bank. All fans receive a Twins stocking cap presented by West Bend. Sunday is Kids Appreciation Day, where the first 10,000 fans 14 and under get a TC stocking cap courtesy of our family brands. Call 833-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com. Get your tickets. And again, Saturday's game has been moved from 6 o'clock to noon.
There's some Twins right there enjoying the ball game.
Here's Sano, and there is a breaking ball over the inside corner. Sano and Mauer hit doubles, almost the same spot in the left center field fence. And then Plouffe and Lindor hit home runs about 1 row apart from one another. Here's a ball lined to right field, and that ball carried to Rayburn in a hurry. Looked like he might have to make a shoestring catch. He ended up catching that shoulder high.
That's how hard that ball is hit, and off the bat of Sano. But Rayburn, very good outfielder. Got a good jump. Thought that ball might fall in front of him.
Boy.
Solid swing by Sano. Watch Rayburn right there reacting very quickly and working in his glove with that line drive out.
2 bullets off the bat of Sano. Maybe that's a foreshadowing of good things to come. Here's Plouffe. A chopper to short, and Lindor gathers it in, and Kluber has a 1-2-3 third inning on 10 pitches. By Century Link, your link to what's next. by NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Twins with 3 in the first. Indians with 1 in the first. Tommy Malone gave up a couple of hits, stranded 2 runners, and now he'll pitch to the Indians in the third. Kipnis, Lindor, and Brantley. Kipnis went down swinging. Popped up. Mauer in foul ground. 1 down.
And that's what Malone needs right here. Yeah. Exactly what Kluber got. A 10-pitch inning and 1 quick out on 1 pitch.
The Twins don't have a vote, but if they did, they might vote Francisco Lindor, the American League Rookie of the Year.
He's hit Twins pitching well as a left-handed hitter and then as a right-handed hitter. He's made quite an impression on the Twins.
And a first inning home run. Got the Indians on the board. And Malone right on the outside corner. Defensively, he is a superior shortstop to Carlos Correa. Correa may put up more impressive power numbers, 1-1, but neither player was with the team at the beginning of the year.
And both players playing such a vital position on the field as a shortstop.
1-1. 2-1. The Twins, of course, brought up Sano in early July, and he's had a tremendous impact on the Twins. They are here fighting for a playoff spot for a lot of reasons, but one of them is Miguel Sano. You look at Lindor. Rosario's been a contributor a little bit longer than Sano has. What a great rookie class.
You talk Sano. I like Rosario too, what he has brought to the outfield defensively, but also, you know, driving in 49 runs and all the triples he's hit.
Just off the corner, full count to Lindor.
Pretty good class right there.
Malone missed on a 2-2 pitch to Lindor in the first inning, missed inside, and then Lindor hit the next pitch out. Here he tried to tickle the outside corner but missed.
Yeah, and Lindor took it. Pretty good take right there.
Tapper to short. Escobar fires on the run, on target, 2 down.
Nice play by the Twins shortstop Escobar, that has done a great job defensively since he's taken over at shortstop.
Base is empty for Michael Brantley, and that's always a good thing. Brantley is Cleveland's best player. He's had an assortment of injuries this year, some back issues, and then the shoulder issue after a nearly spectacular catch at Target Field. And yet, look at those numbers. Over 300, plenty of pop, and he'll finish just under 100 runs batted in on the year. On the ground, and Tommy Malone has a quick 1-2-3 third inning on 8 pitches. #NorthDataStrongFan. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Earlier we mentioned Eddie Rosario celebrating his birthday today. I don't know if he's celebrating it or not, but it is a birthday for Lavelle E. Neal III.
It's a big one, number 50.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, Lavelle. He might be sleeping right now. Oh, he's 50 years old. Think about it.
Yeah. Here's Rosario, caught looking his first time up, a drive to left field, retreating is Brantley, and that ball is halfway off the wall. Another double for the Twins. And Rosario checks in with an opposite field double.
This is why I like Eddie Rosario, because it looks like that swing right there is just a lazy fly ball to left field. And that ball explodes off the bat. Watch this swing right here. Just, okay, ho-hum, fly ball. You'd think fly ball to left field with that. But that hit off the wall. So the Twins have 5 hits now, 4 doubles, and the 2-run home run by Plouffe.
Last 2 doubles have been opposite field doubles, including Hunter's leadoff double in the second.
Yeah, Torrey jumped on that first fastball away and hit the double.
And Torrey checks, takes a cutter for strike 1.
In the back of Torrey's mind, he'd like to try to get Rosario over to second. He looked like on that pitch he tried to wait a little bit, trying to hit that ball to right field again.
Swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
2 good breaking balls down and away.
When Hunter led off the second with a double, Herman walked on 4 pitches. The Twins had runners at first and second, but then Hunter ended up, after a challenge, being picked off second base. Tap foul, still maintained. The Indians got away with one because Kluber was on the rubber. Escobar was in the box. That signals everybody, including the umpires, that it's time to play ball.
Again, it's up to the umpires to enforce that rule.
It's up to the umpires to pay attention to what's happening. That's in the rule. That's the basis of the challenge rule. And apparently none of the umpires saw Kluber engage the rubber. 2 strikes to Hunter. And time call. I mean, that's why we see pitchers on challenges standing off the rubber on the grass.
Right.
That's how it's supposed to be done. That's how everyone's been schooled on.
Well, I don't know if it was a late call from Terry Francona or not, but Kluber did not know. I mean, he clearly, if he was told to stay off, he would have stayed off. So, but your normal thing is to go back to the pitching rubber, keep the game going. It's one thing they're trying to do is get the game moving.
1-2 to Hunter. Fly ball down the right field line. Rosario setting up for a possible tag. Rayburn with the catch. Here goes Rosario to third. Here's the throw offline, and Hunter's able to advance the runner on a foul pop.
I mean, we saw it, at home. Eddie Rosario in Detroit tagging up on a short fly ball to second base. Kinsler, now this is nothing because this is all the way down in right field.
It's a tape measure shot compared to the one in Detroit.
So Torrey does get high fives. He does advance Rosario 90 feet further and hopefully closer to home plate. Both times the throws were offline, and the one short hop McCann that Rosario scored in Detroit, that ball right there off the mark allowed Rosario to advance.
Big at bat now here for Herman. The infield's in. Twins leading by a couple of runs. Herman walked on 4 pitches right after Hunter's double in the second. That hit Herman. I say it rolls away, and Rosario would have scored, but instead Herman will go to first. And he absolutely owns Corey Kluber. Every time he comes to the plate, he gets on base. Hadn't put a ball in play yet.
I don't know if he wants to go on that way, but hit the top of the bat plant foot, the left foot for Herman. Yeah, he's a catcher. He's okay. He's been watching Kurt Suzuki all season long, or most of the season.
And now Escobar, who right after the challenge was granted and the call was overturned at second base, Escobar popped to Lindor, and Escobar on the pickoff from Gomes took a strike, squared to bunt, and ended up taking a breaking ball for a strike.
But Torrey did nothing wrong. I mean, he tried to go to third, and then he got caught going back to second. Any normal runner would try that.
Swing and a miss, and if there's any fault on the play, it might have been Escobar who squared to bunt, and Torrey trying to get that secondary lead so he can go to third.
Well, I credit Gomes for making a really good heads-up throw over to second base quickly to get Torrey.
One strike to Escobar, trying to loft one to the outfield here, or to hit a pop-up to the second baseman, whatever it'll take to get Rosario in from third. Up and away. You were a pitcher like Kluber. You could get strikeouts. And in situations like this, that's what he's thinking, right? He wants to strike Escobar out.
Oh, absolutely. You know, but you have to get ahead in the count. He did with strike one, but then that fastball away, that really had no purpose. I think he was trying to go down and away. Jeff Manship starting to get loose in the pen for the Indians.
1-1 to Escobar. 2-1.
Oh, you wonder, you know, he missed some time with that hamstring injury. You wonder if that's still bothering him. I had a hamstring injury for one of my years in the big leagues, and it takes a long time for a hammy to heal. Anybody that's ever had one, you know how long it takes, and he missed just over 3 weeks.
And that's rolled to third, a foul ball. That ball just crossed the line. Rosario will go back to third base. He broke for home. That's not surprising. But that ball kicked sideways about 2/3 of the way down the third base line.
Well, I say anytime, and we saw Trevor Plouffe do this a couple times, when that ball is hit like that, Aviles comes in and continues the play. A lot of times you cannot hear that umpire behind you, so Aviles goes ahead and makes the play, and Rosario's tagged out, but he gets to go back to third because of his foul ball.
And now 2 strikes. Escobar 80 strikeouts, 392 at bats.
And what Kluber does so well, he'll throw that breaking ball down and in underneath a left-hander swing. Now Gomes sitting away and missing away.
Full count. We'll see if the Twins send Herman here.
One thing we have seen from Escobar, good low ball hitter.
Do you send Herman here? Try to stay out of the double play?
No.
Okay.
Gomes has an outstanding arm. We saw it earlier.
And Escobar asks for time. Twins trying to add to their 3 runs. They've had 2 leadoff doubles. Didn't score in the second, trying to get at least 1 more here in the 4th. Herman goes, and it's ball 4. Well, Kluber clearly not at all the Kluber that we saw earlier this year, or the one we saw last year. He's walked 3 batters, hit 1. He's given up 5 extra base hits.
Yeah, Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach here with Terry Francona, will be making a quick trip to the mound. Yeah, 58 pitches for Kluber.
Expressionless, whether he's shutting you out or struggling as he is here tonight. Kluber very stoic. And Dozier with the bases loaded Just 4 hits and 31 at bats against Kluber, but it was Dozier's opposite field home run last week at Target Field that broke the ice.
Yeah, Kluber, you know, the Twins have seen him a lot. He has 6 career wins against the Twins. That's the most for Kluber against any opponent. And this is his 15th career start, and that also the most against any opponent. And his 101st major league start.
Big at bat here for the Twins second baseman. And he takes low, ball 1. Fastball gets a swing and a miss.
Well, as Brian Dozier hit that home run against Kluber to right field, his first career home run against to right field.
One and one to Dozier. To center and deep. Almonte back, makes the catch. Front 2 runners will tag, and Rosario scores, and Dozier gets a sacrifice fly, and it's 4-1.
Yeah, Brian driving in his 76th run, and the Twins getting that run back that Malone gave up in the bottom of the first, now with that 3-run lead again. So a good at bat by Brian Dozier, driving in a run, and also advancing Chris Herman to third base.
Now Hicks is 0 for 2. And a number out toward the mound, and then struck out swinging. Herman at third and Escobar at first. Breaking ball over, strike 1.
He started Hicks in his last at bat with a breaking ball away for strike 1. Then he went fastball away. Then he went fastball in and struck him out on 3 pitches.
Just off the corner. 1-1. Escobar flushed back to the bag.
Kluber came into the ball game with 4 complete games on the year, tied with Mark Burley for the most in the American League.
1-1 to Hicks. Again, a breaking ball off that outside corner. 2-1. He's thrown 3 breaking pitches in a row to Hicks. And a foul. 2-2. That looked like the cutter.
Yeah, most pitches he's needed so far here in the 4th, but 65 pitches in that 3 2/3 innings he worked the last time against the Twins. He threw 72 pitches in 3 2/3 innings. Average pitch count you'd like around 15.
Two and 2 to Hicks. And a tapper foul. Another breaking ball out near that outside corner.
You know, and that groin injury that Kluber had, that was his right groin, so that's his push-off leg. I'm sorry, it was a hamstring.
2-2 to Hicks. Miss with a fastball inside. Kluber wanted it. And now it's 3-2.
All right, tried to go with a fastball in after all the breaking balls.
Fox Tracks presented by Ram. Escobar will leave early from first. Santana playing behind him at first base. Mauer on deck. Full count to Aaron Hicks. Got him. Another off-speed pitch. The Twins get one but leave two. It's 4-1 after 3.5. Rosario with a double and a run scored on his birthday. Our Sanford Health injury report over in the National League. Injuring Gonzalez. Missed a couple of games. The Dodgers have a chance to clinch the National League West tonight if they can beat their friends, the San Francisco Giants.
Oh, I don't think there's any friendship there.
The Twins can't do any clinching until perhaps at home. They need to take care of some business here on the road. Tommy Milone now with a 4-1 lead. And he will face the middle of the Cleveland lineup: Santana, Rayburn, and Gomes.
Yeah, you'd like to be playing the Astros or the Angels, but it doesn't work that way, so the Twins have to take care of business.
Foul ball, 1 strike. Milone struggled, particularly in the second inning when he gave up a couple of singles, no runs.
But he rebounded nicely with a 1-2-3 last inning, so only on 8 pitches.
1 strike to Santana. Up high, 1-1. Indians finished their road schedule. They'll close out the season at home. 42-39 on the road. That's a building block. Team that has been rebuilt during the season. Actually had a winning record on the road. 1-1. That's hit to right, and Hunter trots over for the first out. And let's check in with Marty Gellner.
Well, guys, because of the late change in starting pitchers today for the Twins, I talked to Chris Herman, who would be catching behind the plate, and he said that he's worked enough times with Tommy Milone to know what he likes, what his approach is, and what he's trying to do out there. And Herman said it doesn't really change much for me. I've been around long enough to know how to handle these pitchers and how to handle change. So Herman said he didn't think it would affect his job at all. But Dick and Bert certainly have the potential to be a little bit unnerving, especially considering how this series is, how big it is to start off the series with a change in starting pitchers.
Well, it is. Thank you, Marty. But, you know, like Chris Herman, this guy is known for to be a very good defensive catcher, also a good game caller. And he'll sit down before the game, go over the lineup, and then make the adjustment a couple ways. By the stuff that Malone has, and also the scoreboard sometimes dictates how you're going to go about your business once you're out on that mound.
1-1 to Rayburn. This was not a situation, however, where Phil Hughes suddenly became ill. He was not feeling well in Detroit, and so Malone knew that he might be called upon as his head hit the pillow last night. Herman, I'm sure, was told he was probably going to catch, and so that it was necessary for the manager to change pitchers didn't come as much of a surprise to anybody. Tall pop-up, short center field, and Hicks comes in. And a couple of quick outs here in the fourth. That'll bring up Yan Gomes. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens through programs that promote character and leadership, education, healthy lifestyles, and more. For more info, visit foxsportsupports.com.
You know, we've seen from Malone before, Dick, that, you know, first couple innings he'll struggle a little bit, then he'll settle down, and then comes some starts. He's you know, retired 9, 10, 11 in a row during the middle of the ball game.
Twins rotation is set for the balance of this series, so this is not a case where, well, let's give Phil a couple of days, we'll bring him back on Wednesday. The Twins are going to go Gibson, Pelfrey, and Duffy for the balance of this series. Santana will pitch Friday against Kansas City. The earliest Phil Hughes could pitch would be Saturday in the middle game of the series. One strike to Gomes. Single got as far as second base in the second inning. 1-1. Hughes, by the way, took an IV to replenish some fluids here at the ballpark, and the Twins sent him back to the hotel. One and one to the Cleveland catcher. A pop-up wide of third. Escobar.
Another good inning.
Foul ball catch. 10 pitches for Malone. He's retired 7 men in a row. Mountain Dew fans of the game, some Twins fans here. They're easy to spot because there aren't many Indians fans here. And the Twins in front 4-1. Joe Mauer will lead off the 5th against Corey Kluber. Mauer with a double off the fence in left center, a run scored in the 1st, and he went down swinging in the 3rd. Strike on the outside corner. Crack to left and down for a hit. Brantley fields it on a hop, and the Twins get another leadoff hit against Kluber. Listen up to find out how you can buy tickets to potential postseason games at Target Field. For the first time Wednesday, the general public will be able to buy tickets to a potential wild card game as well as any division series games played at Target Field beginning at 10 a.m. Wednesday. All you have to do is visit twinsbaseball.com to pick up your tickets to October. Here is Sano.
Sano's had 2 very good at bats, an RBI double off the left field wall, left center wall in the 1st inning. They hit a ball sharply to Rayburn out in right field.
Inside a ball. So Sano with a bullet to left and a bullet to right. Hasn't homered in about a week and a half. Breaking ball down and away, 2-0. We saw yesterday he got his first major league triple and seemed to not have any issues with the hamstrings. He had some issues with his traction. He nearly spun out between 1st and 2nd and then again between 2nd and 3rd, but he seems to be healed from his hamstring issue. Swing and a miss, 2-1.
Yeah, Sano's last home run came in Minnesota in game 1 of that doubleheader against the Angels. Another 2-run home run. 13 of the 17 home runs have had runners on.
Two and one. Breaking ball hit the corner, and it's 2-2.
Oh, good breaking ball right here. Gomes, the catcher, sitting away. Getting part of the cube, the Fox tracks, whatever they call those little boxes. What did we determine? I kind of like the cubes.
Kicks away from Gomes. Mauer stays, and it's 3-2. I think sector is the word that on Twitter most people offered up. Sections. Full count. Kluber's already walked 3 men and hit another. Mauer goes, and the pitch lifted to right. And retreating is Rayburn. And Mauer retreats to first, 1 down.
You know, for Corey Kluber, what a difference a year makes. Last year, when he was on the mound, the Indians were 22-12 in his 34 starts. And coming into this ball game, the Indians are 10-20 in his 30 starts this year. Of course, an 18-game winner last year, only an 8-game winner here now.
Plouffe, the batter, a 2-run home run in the first, and then a bouncer to short in the third. Again, Trevor's had some success against Kluber. And he takes strike 1. Trevor, 12 hits, 38 at bats, but 3 home runs against Kluber. bug or something was irritating Trevor. See some gnats flying around home plate.
Yep.
Not quite as bad as it was, what, 10 years ago in the playoffs, 8 years ago in the playoffs. And up high, 1-1.
Yeah, I played in the old stadium here where the new Browns new beautiful ballpark is, a football stadium. And those gnats during this time of the year, the summertime, they'd be all over the place.
One and one to Plouffe. Out in front of the breaking ball. 1-2.
Seems to me tonight that Kluber's throwing a lot of breaking balls.
He has some command of that. The fastball seems to be all over the place.
He let some fastballs up in the first couple innings that got him hurt.
Let's try to take advantage of Mauer's leadoff single here in the fifth. Fastball up, fouled it straight back. Kluber at 8-15, the only starting pitcher the Twins will face in this series that does not have a winning record. Cody Anderson tomorrow, 6-3, ERA in the low threes. Carlos Carrasco, 14-11, an ERA in the mid threes. Josh Tomlin, 6-2, and an ERA of 3.03. Checked his swing. Strike three, Alan Porter says. 2 down.
Another breaking ball. Trevor unable to hold up, and Kluber picking up his 5th strikeout.
Oh, he didn't go, I don't think. That looked like a check to me. Carsoup.com trivia question. The last major league pitcher to lose 15 in a season with an ERA of under 4. Wow. How long would we have been here before we would have come up with him?
Thursday night.
I don't like our chances. Here is Rosario, doubled off the fence and left, leading off the 4th. His last time up, later scored. Swing and a miss. Shelby Miller having an incredible year for the Braves. They just can't score him any runs. And Kluber with a similar year going for the Indians. One strike to Rosario. Fouled back. And we're so conscious of the top teams in the league, the Twins fighting for a playoff spot and all that. We don't tend to think about the other side of the league standings. There really aren't any really bad teams. There's nobody in the league is going to lose 100. There's only going to be one team that's going to lose 90 this year. This is a very balanced American League this year. You got the Oakland A's with 91 losses. They'll be the only team to lose 90 games this year.
Right.
2 strikes to Rosario. Poke to left, and that'll die for a base hit. Mauer will round second and hold up there. And a nice 2-strike approach by Rosario. Just trying to put the ball in safely, and he found some outfield grass.
Well, he's got such outstanding reach. That ball looked like it was about 2 feet outside, but just up and away, just stuck those arms out there. And watch where this pitch is. The ball's off the plate, and Rosario just kind of reaching out and hitting it into left field. His second hit on his 24th birthday.
Twins have had a threat in every inning but the 3rd. We'll need another 2-out hit here from Hunter. Hunter with a double to right, and then a short foul fly down the right field line that was long enough to score Rosario from 3rd base. He's already driving in his 78th run. right to the second baseman, Kipnis. And the Twins leave 2 more aboard. They've left 6 on through 5. They lead 4-1.
What they needed to do was score early, and they did that with 2 outs. Joe Mauer, a double off the left center field wall. Sano followed with an RBI double. And then Trevor Plouffe hitting his 22nd home run. A big 2-run home run gave the Twins an early 3-0 lead. But in the top of the first, Francisco Lindor making it a 3-1 ball game with his 11th home run off of Tommy Milone. And the Twins added 1 more in the 4th inning.
Bottom third of the Indians lineup. Tommy Milone hits the inside corner. Chris Johnson, Abraham Almonte, and Mike Aviles. Milone asked to make the start today in place of Phil Hughes, who became ill and was sent back to the hotel. There's strike 2.
You know, one thing to go back to that trivia question we had, and I looked it up. Jim Abbott, I mentioned Jim Abbott, and I believe was lose 15 games with an ERA under 4.
Yes,
I believe it was. Well, Jim Abbott in 1992 was 7-15 with a 2.77 per ERA in 29 starts. That was my final year with the Angels, and I remember, I mean, everybody, us, you know, Finley and myself, Kirk McCaskill, we would kind of go up after every start and say, you know, you keep pitching like that, you're going to win a lot of them.
And meanwhile, the Angels are scoring you 7 and 8 runs a game.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. You know, we fall into that rut. Brad Radke was one of those pitchers that always seemed like he didn't get a lot of run support.
1-2 to Johnson. Struck out swinging his first time up. Malone's done just fine after a bit of a rough first trip through the batting order. He's set down all 6 batters the second time. And a busted bat, 1 hopper to Escobar. 1 down.
Twin fans, don't forget at Twin home games you bring your Circle Me signs, and if you may find yourself in a Minnesota Lottery winner circle just like that, and I'll circle you and you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. Not too often get a telestrator here in Cleveland. I should have circled Lavelle.
You should have.
I didn't realize that.
A little hurt that he didn't. If it's not going to happen on his 50th birthday, it's probably just not going to happen.
Maybe we can go back to Lavelle. Maybe he's awake now.
1 down. Here's Almonte, singled his last time up, squaring to bunt and taking up high, ball 1. Indians have a winning record against right-handed starters. They're 22-30 against left-handed starters. Now, I thought at the start of the year, there he is. Here's your chance.
Okay, here we go. Lavelle, well, he's awake and he's eating. He's lost a lot of weight. Come on, Lavelle, think about it.
Off the plate now, 2-0.
Okay. You're hereby circled, Ovell. Happy birthday.
Phone's buzzing. People saw him on TV. Now they're letting him know about it.
I think he had a little mayonnaise on the side of his mouth there, too.
2-1 to Almonte. Talking about the Indians' struggles against left-handed starters, and I always thought coming into this year that would be a bit misleading for teams within the American League Central, because some pretty tough lefties. David Price at the start of the year with the Tigers. Chris Sale for the White Sox. There's a bunt foul, nowhere near fair territory. And but nevertheless, here the Indians struggling, and they may catch a break, or at least thought they might have, with Phil Hughes going down, and who pops up on the mound to face them here in a critical game for them. But it's another left-handed starting pitcher.
Yeah, Tommy Milone, I tell you, this guy knows how to pitch. When he's on, he'll change speeds well. You see the pitch count really a lot better over the last 3 innings.
That's hit to left. It's hanging in the air for Rosario, and Milone getting a lot of fly ball outs here.
He's retired 9 in a row now.
2 down, and that'll bring up Aviles. Paul Molitor said 75-80 pitches for Milone, but he hasn't really had any pitches under duress since the 2nd inning. So assuming he can get Aviles here, we'll see whether he's sent out for the 6th. Twins have some relievers who've been beset by the flu bug as well. Brian Dunsing's pretty much been laid flat the last couple of days. Kevin Jepson's been dealing with it. Somebody asked Paul today, there's a check swing strike, you know, just what you want to deal with. Most important week the Twins have had in 5 years, and Paul just shrugged his shoulders and smiled and said, yeah, you can't do anything about it. You know, I mean,
it's out of his control.
Exactly. Fly ball center field. Hicks back. Plenty of room out there. And another good inning for Tommy Milone. A perfect trip through the Cleveland batting order the 2nd time through. Is tonight on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And keeping a camera on Tommy Milone. We saw Paul Molitor come over, talk with him briefly, and now Neil Allen's doing the same. No activity in the Twins' pen as Paul left. Tommy, he patted him on the knee, and I took that to mean, all right, go get him, one more. And there's a pat on the other knee. So at the very least, he's been patted on both knees.
He's patted down.
Chris Herman to lead off the 6th against Kluber, who's out there still for the Indians. Strike 1. Catcher's interference. That's my call for Chris Herman in this at bat. He's reached twice with a walk. He was hit by Kluber. He's also picked up some hits against him, 4 for 13. Inside. 1-1. Herman started the year as the backup catcher, wasn't getting much opportunity to play, wasn't hitting, was sent down because Eric Fryer was in Rochester. And then Fryer got up here, and in limited playing time, Fryer struggled to hit, so they switched him back again.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough being a backup, especially to a guy like Kurt Suzuki who wants to be out there 6 days a week. So, you know, you're maybe getting 4 at-bats a week if you're lucky.
Fouled away.
You can take all the batting practice you want, which Chris Herman does, and also Eric Fryer. They try to get as much as they can, but there's nothing like facing a live pitcher. A lot of batting practice, just facing somebody and says, here's, hit it.
One advantage Herman has, of course, over Fryer. He's left-handed. Fryer's right-handed. 1-2. Tapper right side. Kluber to the bag. Santana with a flip. 1-1. And that'll bring up Escobar. Escobar drew a walk in the 4th inning. Twins out hitting the Indians 7-3. Kluber, who was on a pitch count of about 75 in Minnesota, even though he didn't get that far.
One thing the Indians did is they did tie Kluber up for a long time. He signed through 2021.
Strike one.
Of course, he's winning the Cy Young Award winner back in early April. They signed him to an extension.
If the Twins so much as split this series, the Indians will be eliminated. Because they're 3.5, actually 4 games out of the wild card.
Right.
And there'd only be 3 games left.
Yeah, they have that makeup game if needed with the Tigers on Monday, October 5th.
Be curious if by the time the Twins leave town Thursday night, if the Indians are eliminated, whether the Indians will run Kluber out there one more time. He is a precious commodity, dominant #1 starter. And he's out there, you suspect, because the Indians are still in it. And it's the type of thing that he may have missed even more time. They skipped him a couple times through the rotation. He might have missed more time if it were June.
Well, he's an innings eater. Last year, 235 2/3 innings when he won the Cy Young Award, and came into this ballgame with 208 innings on the season.
Escobar rolls another one foul.
So he's averaging 6 1/3, 6 2/3 innings every time out there.
Three and 2. And Escobar chases 2 down.
A good fastball down and away, and Kluber picks up his 6th strikeout. He came into the ball game 3rd in the American League in strikeouts.
Number 2, Brian Dozier.
With 230, now at 236.
Slider is, oh my.
Paying a visit to the birthday boy.
What a night for Lavelle. It's circled by you. And a French kiss by Slider. 2 down. Here's Dozier. Twins, of course, chasing the Astros and the Angels. The Angels made an interesting move today. They've got all sorts of pitching issues. Jared Weaver's got a bad arm. He's trying to pitch through it. Matt Latos was signed today by the Angels just for a week. He's ineligible to be with the Angels should they make postseason play, but they need somebody to make a start, very likely for Weaver. So there are some arms out there. I suspect Jonathan Papelbon will not be picked up to solve the Angels bullpen issues. Here's a pop-up down near the tarp and out of play. Twins with a game and a half to make up, but they got to get by 2 teams now. Angels hosting Oakland tonight. Houston's playing out in Seattle. So the complexion could change considerably in a matter of hours. If the Twins win their game and either Houston or Los Angeles lose, well, that's good for the Twins.
Yes, it is.
2-1 to Dozier. And over the inside corner, 2-2. Hunter pitches for Corey Kluber. Lifted foul over the Twins dugout. As much as what happens in the games the Twins play, because of where they're at, they do need some help, and these other games matter very much. The Rangers 3 with the Tigers, and then they close out this season with 4 games against the Angels. And if you're a Twins fan right now, you want the Rangers to sweep the Angels. Astros are in Seattle and then Arizona. They've struggled on the road and they're done playing at home. Two and 2 to Dozier with 2 gone in the 6th. Bouncer to short. Lindor across the diamond. Dozier retired. Kluber has his second 1-2-3 inning. At your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, the classic quarter pounder with cheese only at McDonald's, and right now just $3. So far it's been a great performance by Tommy Milone. 5 innings, just 1 run allowed. He's retired 10 men in a row, and he's out there throwing pitches to start the 6th inning. Kipnis takes strike 1.
They've done a good job of that right there. 19 batters faced now, 15 first pitch strikes. And Malone over his career, making his 6th career start against the Indians. 2 wins, 1 loss, an ERA actually under 2, 1.95 against the Indians. His 5 previous starts.
Couple of left-handed batters in the lineup for the Indians, Kipnis and Brantley, and they're 0 for 4 and have not gotten the ball out of the infield. 2 strikes to Kipnis. Fly ball deep center field. Hicks going back. Still going back. Still going back. Leaps and the ball hits the wall. Caroms to Rosario. Kipnis to third. They're going to hold him. Now he overruns and falls down, but gets back to third base. It looked like Hicks got there, but missed the ball.
Kipnis giving it a ride to straightaway center. Aaron Hicks on his horse. He's trying to catch up to it. An 0-2 pitch, not a bad pitch down. And Hicks getting turned around a little bit and leaped for it. I don't know if he got glove on it or not, but it's Rosario has to get it back in.
And the Twins kind of misfired on the relay, or they would have had Kipnis rounding third, a stop sign, and then he fell on his fanny. But because the Twins, I believe it was Escobar, didn't catch the throw, which was right to him, and dropped it instead, Kipnis is at third, nobody out. And now Lindor will bat. Down and away, ball 1. Blaine Boyer warming up. Just what the Twins and Malone didn't want to have happen. A leadoff extra base hit here in the 6th. Bounce to third. And Escobar will fire across with the run scoring. It's 4-2.
And you got to figure right there. I mean, Lindor's been hitting well against the Twins. He's going to drive in Kipnis. It's a 4-2 ball game. Now stop the damage right here. You get the out. After a leadoff triple, if you're a pitcher, think you're going to strike out the side, you're not going to. You're going to give up a run right there, and he did. Now you continue.
Especially this pitcher, Tommy Malone, not a strikeout guy. He doesn't have Kluber stuff.
Well, Lindor picking up both runs with his home run, and right there in RBIs, now with 49 on the year.
Now Brantley, strikeout in the first, and a ground ball to Dozier in the third. Strike 1. Strike 2.
Well, he got ahead of Kipnis, and Kipnis actually went down and hit a pretty good pitch to straightaway center. It's a big out right here. I think Malone will face Santana if he gets Brantley out here. Santana, better hitter as a right-handed hitter. That's why Boyer warming up. If Brantley gets on.
And Brantley waited on a breaking pitch and put a pretty good swing on it.
Yes, he did. Brantley had a career year last year when he hit .327. Putting another 300+ year together.
0-2. And now 1-2. Malone trying to get out of the 6th inning here, pick up his 9th win of the year. When you consider that this year for Malone consisted of a stint on the disabled list and a stint in Rochester. He spent the entire month of May at the AAA Farm Club. One and 2 to Brantley. That's to short center. Hicks coming in. And this one he'll catch for out number 2. And because Brantley was retired, well, Paul Molitor climbing the dugout steps, and he's going to make the change.
A little surprised at this, but again, you know, Santana hitting only .212 as a lefty and .270 as a right-handed hitter.
if the Twins get to the playoffs with 85 wins, whatever it is, this game will stand out. A remarkable game by Tommy Milone. On short notice, he got the start, and he comes off the mound with a 4-2 lead.
Yeah, he comes to the ballpark and Phil Hughes sick, so Tommy Milone gets the call in 5 2/3 innings through 82 pitches. Did a great job. No walks, 4 strikeouts, and one time he retired 10 straight Cleveland Indians. Now it's up to the bullpen. First one out will be Blaine Boyer, making his 66th relief appearance. He pitched a shutout inning on Saturday against the Tigers. Picked up his 18th hold of the season in the 6-2 win over the Tigers.
Santana, a better right-handed hitter than left, at least this year, and so that factors into the pitching change here too.
Santana with more power as a left-handed hitter, but the average down.
And strike one from Boyer.
Boyer's done a very good job out of that bullpen in his first season. A guy that came to spring training, non-roster player, made the club.
Breaking ball misses 1-1.
Boyer, 34 years old, first came to the big leagues with the Atlanta Braves back in 2005.
And lunges after a pitch down and into Santana. 2-1. Bullpen has to get 10 outs here with the Twins leading by 2 runs. And foul. 2-2.
Boyer 63 2/3 innings, 33 strikeouts. He's walked 19, but 4 intentional. Giving up less hits to innings pitched, 57 to 64.
2-2 to Santana. Tampa right side, a foul ball. We were talking about the Angels. They signed Matt Latos for their game tonight. They're going to have 39 players. The reason they call
the other one?
I was going to say the reason they call it a 40-man roster. You only got 40 guys, and 39 of them are going to be.
How'd you like to be that guy at home?
How'd you like to be the clubhouse guys?
What about me? Hey, bigger tips.
That's true. 2-2. the ground. Dozier waits for the ground ball in right field, throws him out. Boyer gets the Twins off the field in the 6th. It's a 4-2 ball game.
Joe Mauer a double, RBI single or RBI double by Sano scored Mauer, and then a 2-run home run by Trevor Plouffe made it an early 3-0 lead. But in the bottom of the first inning, Francisco Lindor hitting a home run, his 11th of the year, made it a 3-1 ball game. Twins added one more in the 4th inning, and Tommy Malone worked into the 6th inning, 5 2/3 innings, 2 runs allowed on only 4 hits. No walks, 4 strikeouts.
And now the Twins will get into the Cleveland bullpen. Zach McAllister will be the first of what I suspect will be many Cleveland relievers tonight.
Yeah, once a starter, now a reliever. McAllister, a strikeout pitcher, 80 strikeouts in 65 2/3 innings. He's walked 22, 4 intentional. Hard throwing right-handed pitcher. With all 4 pitches, he has a split finger for his changeup.
See, if not in Cleveland, maybe for another team, McAllister re-emerging as a starting pitcher. Great stuff. The Indians are so deep in that department. McAllister will face Hicks, Mauer, and Sano here in the Twins 7th.
I mean, you got a kid like Trevor Bauer that's now in the bullpen, you know. I mean, he's got a great arm. I believe he's in the bullpen, is he not?
I think he's still in their rotation.
They have a 6-man rotation in.
Hicks with 1 ball. He bunts it in the air. Foul, 1-1. Hicks 0 for 3. Hit one off the end of the bat halfway between the plate and the mound. Kluber made the play, and then Hicks struck out twice on Kluber breaking balls. Twins saw the Indians score a run in the bottom of the 6th. They'd like to answer with 1 here in the 7th, at least 1. To center, and Lindor cuts it off. 1 down. Sounded like he broke his bat. 1 away. And now Mauer. A couple of opposite field hits, a double off the fence in left center field, and then a line drive single to left. Casey Fiend warming up. strike over the inside corner. Mauer's double with 2 outs in the first, followed by another double by Sano, and then a 2-run home run by Plouffe. One and one. A former Cleveland pitcher made some news today. Jerry Dipoto, who was deposed as the general manager of the Angels earlier this season, has now been named the new general manager of the Seattle Mariners. 2-1. Now 3-1. Twins with 7 hits against Kluber, 5 of them for extra bases, including Sano's double and Mauer's double. Three and two.
You know, McAllister, I guess we could say like Trevor May. May doesn't have the starts that McAllister has had in the big league level, but here's a guy that throws hard, and I think the Indians see him as a 1 or 2 inning type pitcher.
Foul tip, and Gomes with the catch. Second time Mauer struck out tonight. 2 down. We promised it to you earlier in the game. We selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #NorthDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
Very nice, Dustin, with the bear. TC.
Here's Sano. A double off the fence in left center in the first. A line out to Rayburn in right in the third, and then a fly ball to Rayburn in the fifth. Ball one. Foul back.
Just looking at McAllister's major league record, 65 starts, 72 ball games, 363 innings coming into the ball game. And here's a guy that throws hard, but he's good for about 5 innings. That's about it. You know, good minor league numbers, but up here, control has been an issue. A lot of walks and strikeouts, which creates a high pitch count.
And swing, but strike 2. Have won 9 of the 15 games between these two teams so far this year. Breaking ball got him, and a good inning for McAllister as the Twins go down 1-2-3.
authority of the Minnesota Twins that may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Just 3 home games left for the Twins, and the game Saturday has been changed from a 6 o'clock start to a noon start because of national television. So make that note, regardless of whether you have a ticket or whether you wanted to watch the game on TV, listen to it on the radio. It's a noon game, not 6 o'clock, and you and I get the day off.
Yes, we do. We'll be watching, though.
Yes, we will. Casey Fiend hopes to get 3 outs here in the 7th inning. Blaine Boyer got the last out of the 6th. Twins thrilled, I think, that they've gotten to this point having used just 2 pitchers, and now they'll hand it over to the veterans of the bullpen.
Yeah, good job by Boyer getting that final out. Now Casey Fiend making his 61st relief appearance.
Lonnie Chisenhall hitting in what was Rayburn's spot. Chisenhall 1 for 8 against Fiend. And a pitch up, ball 1. One and 0 to Chisenhall. Yan Gomes on deck. And a strike, 1-1.
Well, the stat that sticks out when Casey Fiend comes in are his walks to innings pitched. 8 walks in 61 1/3 innings pitched.
Rolled to Mauer. He'll go to the bag for the first out. Every weeknight, don't miss MLB Whip Around on Fox Sports 1. Highlights, instant analysis, live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around weeknights at 6 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. 1 down, and now Gomes. Gomes singled in the 2nd, fouled out to Escobar in the 4th. Big swing and a foul. Gomes and then Johnson here in the Cleveland 7th.
Good fastball right there by Fiend. 94 miles an hour. For Yan Gomes, is kind of a disappointing year, really. I mean, he's done a great job behind the plate, but as far as average and power and runs batted in, not even close to what he did last year. Last year he hit 278, hit 21 home runs, drove in 74. He's at only 12 this year, drove in 44, and he's hitting 225.
One and 2 to Yan Gomes. And a foul into the seats.
Gomes in his 3rd season with the Indians. First came up with the Blue Jays in 2012.
Fiend's typical and ideal inning. 1, 2, 3 with about 12, 13 pitches. Off the plate, 2 and 2.
It's hard to believe that Casey Fiend at one time was released by the Houston Astros. You know, the Tigers kind of let him go. He signed with the Astros, minor league contract. Ended up getting a release and then signed a minor league contract with the Twins. He's done a great job in a Twins uniform. Very steady.
2 and 2. And now a full count. And as you said, very good with his control, which is why his role has evolved from being a 6th, 7th inning guy to 7th and 8th inning guy. Just can't afford walks at this point. Now Gomes has stretched the count full here with 1 out.
Herman sitting down and away.
And a base hit to center.
Well, credit Gomes right there. He gets his second hit, reaches out, and hits it in the left center.
A 1-out single, and now Chris Johnson to the plate. Johnson struck out swinging in the second and then hit a ground ball to short. Strike 1. Casey throw more of those 4-seamers and maybe not as many of those cutters that he used so effectively last year.
Yeah, he's more of a fly ball pitcher too, so I think he's had only 1 double play turn behind him. Neil Cott's getting loose.
1 strike, 2 strikes. Feed ahead, 0-2 to Chris Johnson. 2 down. Herman hangs on to a foul tip for the second out.
He went right after him, picks up a strikeout. And Chris Johnson striking out for the second time.
Now Almonte. Almonte, switch hitter. All of his home runs from the left side of the plate.
Yeah, Fiend calling out Chris Herman, and they discuss something. Take the bunt away from him as Trevor Plouffe in on the grass. Almonte in his last at bat tried to bunt, or showed bunt. He did bunt it foul. You don't have to worry about Gomes at first base. Just make him stop.
Swing and a miss.
That's
a breaking ball.
Yeah, that's the pitch I'd like to see Casey throw a little bit more. Everything's hard. And he's been working on that. He started in spring training with that kind of a slow curveball. He'll pull it out once in a while.
Herman calls for it again. Time called. But am I right? We haven't seen as many of those 89-mile-per-hour cutters that Casey threw so well last year.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that 2 is the curveball or the cutter. And you know, pitchers use different signs for different pitches, excuse me. And it's back to the 2, so we'll see what this is. Is it another curveball?
Well, the Twins found out that Almonte could hit a fastball. They kept pitching it to him when we were here last time. And he kept clobbering it to right center field.
We'll see what this number 2 is. See?
Well, that might be the cutter.
Right.
Yep. 0-2. 15 pitches for Fiend.
You know, some guys will use 1 as a breaking ball, 2 as a fastball. It just depends. A lot of pitchers are different in their thinking of what they want to do. One could be a fastball, 2 could be a sinking fastball, 3 is a breaking ball.
Fiend 1 good pitch away from finishing the 7th.
There's a 1.
Bouncer to short. Escobar steps on the bag. That takes care of it. Good inning for Fiend. A 1-out single does no damage. Astros, I don't think, have given up hope of winning the American League West. They know the Rangers have that tough series with the Angels coming up, and if the Astros can take care of business on the road, they could find themselves right back in the top of the division a week from today. Lonnie Chisenhall's in right field for Rayburn. Isn't it nice on September 28th to think that 1 week from today the Twins might still be playing baseball?
I love it. You know, that's, as a player, that you see both sides here. They, you know, the Indians, they're thinking they got to run the season out like they did a couple years ago. And for the Twins, hey, just win. Don't worry about what Houston and the other teams do. Hopefully they lose, but give yourself a chance going into hopefully that 3-game series at home. Get that home field advantage, where the Twins have played very well.
You know, the Twins have a chance here in Cleveland for this night and the next 3 nights to at least win their game before the other guys are playing. You know, they're out on the West Coast, and I don't know whether players pay that much of attention.
Do. This time of the year, you do.
Okay, all right. So the feeling could be, all right, the Twins won their game. Now we got to go win ours.
Yeah, this isn't 2 or 3 weeks to play. This is 7 games to play. So, believe me, Houston and the Angels are looking at the scoreboard, seeing that the Twins are up 4-2.
And because of the time change, Saturday they'll have that opportunity again on Saturday. Go beat the Royals, and to the extent you can, maybe put some pressure on the other guys. Yep. High and tight to Plouffe, 2-2. It'll be Plouffe, Rosario, and Hunter. Extra run here would look huge for the Twins.
Yeah, McAllister out there for his second inning of work. A good 1-2-3 top of the 7th inning with a couple strikeouts.
Plouffe hitting a 2-run home run, the biggest swing of the bat so far here tonight. That back in the first inning. And up and in, a swing and a miss. McAllister's retired all 4 batters. You can follow live Twins baseball every day with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Twins all season, what's left of it, with MLB.tv Game of the Day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. Browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking videos and bilingual access for Spanish-speaking fans. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
Well, Terry Francona coming out, Zach McAllister coming out. Good outing for McAllister, ending in the 3rd, 3 strikeouts.
Right-hander Cody Allen.
Yeah, Cody Allen, the closer here in Cleveland, coming in the 8th inning. 32 saves on the year. And I said McAllister, a strikeout pitcher. Allen, 96 strikeouts and 65 innings pitched.
Just 2 home runs allowed and a low opponent batting average. If the Indians had a better record, people would nationally know more about this guy. He's really, really good. And it'll be Rosario who will face him with 1 out here in the 8th.
Yeah, very good fastball, excellent curveball.
The only thing I can figure is he's asked to finish the ball game. And, the Indians have a chance to tie the game, take the lead maybe in the bottom of this inning, and then it would be Allen who'd be asked to finish the ball game in that event. 1 strike to Rosario, and now a ball. Rosario with a double to left and a single to left. So Glenn Perkins will get the 8th inning after Fiend pitched a scoreless 7th. That would set up Jepson for the 9th. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Yeah, Allen in his 2nd season as the closer in his 4th season with the Indians.
That's to center and down for a hit.
That's
Rosario
a good
with his 3rd hit of the night.
Well, when he struck out the first time, I thought, that's not a very good birthday present to yourself. But
looking too.
Yeah. Now a double, a single, and another single.
And he hasn't pulled one yet. Single to center and a couple of opposite field hits, and now Hunter. Torrey with a double in the 2nd to the opposite field. A sacrifice foul fly to the opposite field, and a ground ball to second. I guess you look at this, and yeah, Sano clobbered his double. He pulled it. Plouffe pulled his home run, but the hitting that's been done, most of it since then, has been to the opposite field.
Right. Well, these guys get that fastball. We saw Kluber and McAllister, now Allen. They're all 93 to 96 mile an hour fastballs.
Hunter takes up and away. Hunter just 1 for 9 against Allen, but he's walked 3 times. And over for a strike.
Very tight rotation on that curveball. Rosario at first base. Allen has a little bit of a high leg kick. Rosario 11 stolen bases in 17 attempts.
The best series that Torrey Hunter's had in his return to the Twins came here. First time the Twins came to Progressive Field. One of his more dramatic home runs hit was here the 2nd time the Twins came here. The opposite field home run that ended up being a game winner in extra innings. 2-1. Rosario goes, and the pitch lifted foul.
I had a sense that Rosario was going to try to get a good read and take off.
$10,007 the paid attendance tonight. Tickets sold 10,007.
Boy, if 8 people had stayed home.
2-2. Hunter swings and misses. He's retired, but Rosario on a pitch in the dirt took off, and he does advance into scoring position.
There should be a strikeout and then a wild pitch allowing Rosario to get to second base.
Herman being called back, and Eduardo Nunez is going to try to deliver a 2-out pinch hit.
And it is a strikeout and a wild pitch.
Nunez got the start yesterday, had a good day in the field and at the plate.
Yeah, Nunez 2 hits in yesterday's ball game. Actually was hit by a pitch also in that 2nd inning where the Twins scored 6 runs and then a ground out to short.
2 for 8 as a pinch hitter. Not all that great, but for the Twins this year, he's been their most productive pinch hitter this side of Shane Robinson. Big spot here for Nunez with a speedy runner at second and 2 down. Breaking ball, strike 1. Rosario with a healthy lead at second. Nunez swings through, strike 2. Indians are showing no effort at all to hold Rosario close at second base.
Yeah, he probably will score on a base hit anyway, but what you have is Lindor and Kipnis. They do not want to give up their ground and their coverage by coming in towards second base.
0-2 to Nunez. To center, it'll hang in the air for Almonte. And the Twins are done on the top of the 8th. They'll take a 2-run lead to the bottom. He could have hoped once he found out Phil Hughes was sick. Tommy Milone got him 17 outs. Blaine Boyer got 1. Casey Feen got the 3 outs in the 7th inning, and now Glenn Perkins will try to get the 3 in the 8th.
And this is probably the most important outing this year for Glenn Perkins after his last outing against the Tigers on Friday, when he gave up that home run to Davis and ended up losing that ball game 6-4. Kurt Suzuki now behind the plate. We thought that he'd get the day off, but there he is again.
1 strike to Aviles. And now 2 strikes.
For Glenn Perkins, he's making his 58th relief appearance.
Aviles been around a long time. 4 for 20 against Perkins, with just 2 strikeouts on the ground and into center field, a base hit. On an 0-2 pitch, Aviles reaches, and the Indians now will get the tying run to the plate. Zubas Palooza returning to Target Field. The offer is for Friday night when the Twins take on the Royals. You can get a reserved seat for the game and your very own limited edition Minnesota Twins Zubas pants. Take advantage of the offer, available exclusively by logging on to twinsbaseball.com/Zubas.
Well, Perkins has had trouble getting that ball down in the strike zone. A lot of the pitches in his last couple starts or outings have been up.
And now Kipnis takes strike one. That fastball at 92. Kipnis 2 for 8 against Perkins. 3 strikeouts. Foul back, and Perkins has thrown nothing but strikes. And he gets ahead of this hitter. 0-2.
Now you're heading the count. You have to make sure you get that ball down. And Kurt Suzuki wears shin guards. What your focus is on that glove and his shin guards. Everything has been up.
Down the middle, a strikeout on 3 pitches.
93-mile-an-hour, one on the black. And Kipnis took it. He strikes out for the second time in a ball game. See Suzuki sitting off the plate, but holds the glove right there. And even though Foxtrax says it's a bit outside, we can credit Kurt Suzuki on getting out there and holding it.
Foxtrax presented by Carrier. I said down the middle. That was in relation to where Suzuki was set up. He was set up off the plate. Lindor has hit everybody who wears a Twins uniform, including Perkins, a double the last time he faced him. Nothing but strikes from Perkins. And now it's 0-2, a breaking ball. 8 pitches, 8 strikes. And he's gotten ahead of all 3 batters here, 0-2. Ryan Dunsing hasn't been feeling well. He's warming up along with Jepsen. And a slider gets strike 3. Lindor's gone on 3 pitches.
That one had nasty bite to it. That's the Glenn Perkins we know right there. Watch his ball just disappear. Bingo, straight down. Good pitch by Perkins, gets his second straight strikeout.
9 pitches, 9 strikes, and now Brantley 3 for 12 with 3 singles against Perkins.
Suzuki will set away.
And now up to 94.
You don't want to make a mistake to this guy. 15 home runs on the year.
10 pitches, 10 strikes. Mauer gets the first hop, and Perkins has a very strong 8th inning. 11 pitches, all of them strikes. The Twins still lead 4-2. postseason priority by buying next year's season tickets. Don't miss an inning of postseason play and experience exclusive sweet spot benefits like 10% off food and beverage at Target Field. For more info or to place a deposit, call 612-375-7454 or visit twinsbaseball.com/season tickets today.
Well, Indians have a good bullpen. They have some guys down there that can throw that baseball, and Brian Shaw will be the third reliever used coming into the ballgame, making his 72nd relief appearance. Very good 2.92 ERA, 52 strikeouts, 18 walks, 1 intentional in the 61 2/3 innings pitched.
Eduardo Escobar will lead things off.
Perkins needed that inning right there, especially the 2 strikeouts and the pitch that Brantley hit after what happened, and he was really down in the interview that we had with him on Saturday.
Strike 1 to Escobar. And on the outside corner, 0-2. Escobar gets a piece.
I think last time Shaw was on the mound in Minnesota, we talked about the way he throws across his body, but the upper torso also able to get over that left leg, even though he's probably pointing toward the Indians' dugout as where that left foot lands.
0-2. On the outside corner. Wow. And Escobar heads back to the dugout.
Well, pitchers are definitely getting the outside part of the plate.
For the Twins, now hitting second baseman Brian.
A little cutter.
Huh.
And again, you see Gomes doing what Suzuki did, holding it.
1 down in the 9th, and now Dozier. And 1 strike to Dozier. Tigers have opened up a 6-1 lead on the Rangers. That'll catch the attention of the Astros in Seattle. Breaking ball inside, 1-1. Dozier 0 for 2 with a walk and a sacrifice fly. Arriving in the 4th Twins run, back in the 4th inning. 2-1. Foul back. 2-2. Indians are due to send up the middle of their lineup. Santana, Chisenhall, and Gomes. Two. And Dozier lifts it to left. Brantley retreating, and he makes the catch on the edge of the track. 2 down. That'll bring up Hicks.
Now in bat for Minnesota, number 32, Aaron Hicks.
Hicks had a tough day at the plate. A couple of strikeouts. Hit one right off the end of the bat. Kluber fielded, threw him out back in the 1st inning, and then a pop-up to Lindor in the 7th. Hicks starting in center field. We may see him all chopped to the right side. Santana to the bag. Out there ahead of Hicks. We may see Hicks move to right field with Buxton coming in the bottom of the ninth. Slow motion there. The Twins wasted little time in scoring. 3 runs in the first, another one in the fourth, and it's a 4-2 lead now going to the bottom of the ninth, and Kevin Jepson will come in to try to pin it down for the Twins.
Yeah, Jepson with 8 saves as a Minnesota Twin, 13 overall, 5 of them with the Tampa Bay Rays. Jepson joined the Twins back in early August. For Kevin Jepson, last 25 appearances, 1 win, 8 saves, a couple holes, very good ERA. A strikeout pitcher, 22 strikeouts in 24 2/3 innings.
He will face Santana, Chisenhall, and Gomes here in the Cleveland 9th inning. Jepson, like about half the roster for the Twins, dealing with the bug that's been going around. Buxton does come into the game to take over in center, and moving Hicks over to right. Santana 0 for 3 in tonight's game. 2 for 5 against Jepson. Up and away, ball 1.
Jepson last pitched on Saturday a couple days ago, a shutout inning in the Twins' 6-2 win against the Tigers.
Foul back 1-1. Jepson came to the Twins as a good pitcher who sometimes had his control get away from him, and other than his very first outing in a Twins uniform when he walked the first 2 men he faced, Twins have not seen that to this point. He's been a strike thrower. Whatever he's done with Neil Allen seems to have worked in tightening things up with his control. 1-1. And now fouled again.
Yeah, we showed you those numbers, what, 24 2/3 innings or a third innings. He only walked 5. So he is attacking the strike zone. Over his last 25 appearances.
Again, he walked the first 2 guys he faced, but did a really nice job. Especially when you're a closer, you just can't afford walking people. 1-2 to Santana. Popped up. is the left fielder Rosario calling off Escobar. 1 away. And now for what's next, brought to you by Century Link. Twins are going to send Kyle Gibson to the mound against Cody Anderson. And it is Gibson who will be making his next to last start. And it's Gibson who right now is scheduled to start on Sunday in the season's finale.
Well, this is a matchup of the same two in Cleveland, and Cody Allen pitched a very good ball game. Gibson did not, so it's a big start for Kyle Gibson. They need him to have a good one tomorrow night.
Chisenhall, the batter, with the bases empty. They're underway in Anaheim. No score in the first inning. Chisenhall cracked his bat. He'll get a new one. To Lonnie Chisenhall. Oh, 1-2. Up. Suzuki back near the screen and room to make the catch. 2 down.
Good concentration by Kurt Suzuki. A lot of room here behind home plate. Foul territory. Suzuki going running it down.
And that'll bring up Gomes. Gomes with 2 of the 6 Cleveland hits. Both singles, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 7th. Strike 1 over the inside corner. Popped up, short center field. Buxton comes in, Dozier out. Buxton with the call and the catch, and the Twins have won 3 straight on the road. You hear it said so often, help yourself. Well, that's what the Twins did here tonight. They've picked up a half game, and now they'll wait and see if somebody else can help them out along the way as well.
Yeah, the Twins tonight did their job. They won the ball game. Good ball game. Great start by Tommy Malone. Great job by the bullpen, and some good timely hitting early on, especially off the bat of Trevor Plouffe with that 2-run home run in the first.
Twins hope, Anthony, that either the Angels or the Astros or both of them lose on the West Coast, but as we said, the Twins did their part here tonight.